The issues that matter most to you. A closer look at current events, just the tip, special guests, and more. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Arizona's longest-running drag live stream. Hosted by Felicia Fefe Minor and Freddy Prinze Charming. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe.
Wow, that was like an
Good
abrupt stop.
evening. I don't know. It's no fade, no nothing. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
I don't claim to fame any of that transition, any of it at all. This is season 10, episode 28 of Let's Have a Fefe, and I am Felicia Fefe Minor. Welcome to your Wednesday night conversation. And over there, blind in one eye.
See, okay, so yes, but because I had them both in when I took the pictures, but I can't read the show sheet with them both in. Like, I can see well enough to like do things, but I can't see well enough to read with both of them in. So I just have the one, which is okay, because this one means that I'm a real drag king. That's how I know that I'm a real drag king, that I have one whiteout contact lens in.
Is that it? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I did not know that.
That's how you know.
Wow.
Yep.
Hi, Marissa.
I feel like I finally made it.
Oops.
But I am still Freddy Prinze Charming.
Well, you've rearranged some things. I feel like you're still getting comfortable.
I didn't rearrange much. All I did today was literally just slide this over and put this on top of it. That's all I did. I haven't had time to do really much of anything in the drag cave because it's been a really busy week. So it just hasn't happened.
Priorities, I see.
Yeah, like work and shit. Yeah.
Muggle jobs. What do we know? So let's talk about it. We'd like to thank our patrons on Patreon: Allison, Brandon, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Jody, Leanne, Nicole, Patricia Mason, Sassy, Shannon, Shelly, and Sky. A special thanks to all of our friends who take the deeper plunge on Patreon, like Patricia Mason, Sky, and Drake Jensen. You too can join them in the deep end at patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe. Special thanks to our sponsors, to say the least. These people did a lot for us in the last year. Joan of Bobby's Jewelry and Wood Art, Guido Martin and Jeremy Bright of Ripple Phoenix. You can donate to us, sponsor us, put some money in the ducats. Yeah. By going to paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe.
And if you or someone you know has either a product or a service or whatever, we're looking for folks to be sponsors, promotional people, whatever, next season. So if you know someone that would maybe benefit from stuff, whether they do like they have a makeup line, if they do costumes, if they whatever the hell, skincare, whatever, if you know somebody and you think they might want to be a part of our show, let us know. We'd be happy to talk to them about it for next season.
Yeah, I love love, love, love to make. I love product placement. So if you give me products, I will definitely post that
I
online.
mean, there's all sorts of. I mean, pretty sure that about
Please check my Instagram.
98% of the wigs that both Felicia and I wear when we wear them are wigs of a kind. So
Product
like
placement.
that's right.
Product
You
placement.
know. So yeah. Yes.
Yes. Wigs of a
Yes.
kind, Marissa. Burr, burr, burr. I believe this weekend I had a chance to sit down. So there is a text alert that went out this evening. If you would like to be a part of the texting community, you could text LHAF to 602-730-7379. And I think that we have earned $4 this month on Facebook.
Yay, that's almost as enough for a coffee.
Oh, my coffee's expensive.
Yeah.
Um, so if you want to, if you're on Facebook, you can click the star and you can donate stars to us or something. Buy stars, and then we get a portion of that. And Facebook gets richer as we get poorer.
Sounds about
Like
right.
they,
How was your
something like that. I
weekend?
don't. I spent most of it with you.
This
So
is
we
true.
had drag bingo on Friday, but before that, I got my nails done. And there are a lot of creative people, including Freddy Prinze Charming,
I'm still very offended that you just
who
ignore all of my suggestions.
um I pretty much ignored everybody equally. So, because
It's just rude. I mean, you put out
y'all
this
were
like
putting
public
suggestions.
post and you're like, what should I do with my nails? And I'm like, look at all these suggestions. And you're like, just fuck your ideas. So I feel like that's just rude, really. Like, why ask for suggestions if you're not even gonna like
I take some of them. Some of them.
it's fine.
Ooh, I love that. Yes.
Yes, I'm
Ooh, if you follow us on
excited.
Patreon, you'll know why pretty soon. Why we
Mm-hmm.
need these.
Mm-hmm.
Tease,
My
tease, tease.
partner is becoming an expert at stoning. I'm just letting you know this right now.
Oh, it was only a matter of time.
I've got my sweatshop
Um,
open. Now I just have to teach the kids because if I could get all of them doing shit, oh my god, it'd be
I feel like
perfect.
I don't.
All of them.
I have to start with something simple and something that I'm not afraid will get messed up. Because
That's that's the with like I had her start small with things that I was like I don't really give a fuck about this. So
yeah, that's where
because
I
we
had
all
to
know what
figure out.
happens if we trust something to somebody, and even if they have the best of intentions, even if they, you know what I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a costumer or whatever. It's like there's some things that if you get it and you're like, oh my god, and it's there are some things that it's just like I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna do it myself, and because that way, if it fucks up, it's my fault. Nobody else's. I can't, like yeah. It's,
Well, and so we got a lot of things going on. So Friday we did drag bingo. That was cool. It was raining off and on, so I
It
figure
was raining a lot. Apparently, a good chunk of Peoria ended up with no power, which
yes.
that could be why folks didn't show up. They like the rain. Maybe they knocked out their power and shit. They were busy dealing with that. But
Mhm.
I'm not mad about it because they pay ahead of time. So
And then on Saturday we went down to Tucson for adult drag story hour, which is
that was so much fun.
I love the kids, but that was so much fun. There wasn't I don't know what to call it. There wasn't much restriction, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Um,
Well, because with when we do drag story out with the kids, we read obviously kid appropriate
yes,
books, and our interaction with them is way different than when we're doing it with the adults. But that was fantastic. I can't wait to do another one. That was great.
yeah. If you want to know more about our selections, we can send you the link to them. But yeah, it was fun. It was a little bit hot, moist.
It, so okay, all right. Okay. So it was warm. It's
Hmm.
monsoon season, and monsoon season in Tucson is different from up here. So when
Yeah,
it's
they had
it's when
had
it's
rain for 20 days, they
yeah,
said.
when it's that you can basically set your watch by the monsoons in Tucson. I know that from living there for 7 years. And in fact, as we were driving down, I said out loud in the car, I said, by the time we get there, it'll either already have rained or it'll be fixing to rain.
It
And
had already rained, but
right.
the
So it was
remnants had
muggy and it was
left.
gross. And we had driven all the way down from Phoenix, whatever. We get there, and of course, we had to pee like crazy because whatever, right? The downstairs bathroom where we were getting ready
Didn't
wasn't
work.
working. So we go upstairs, and there's a sign in front of the upstairs bathrooms that say closed for maintenance. And we're like, cool. So are you just cleaning it? Like, is this going to be ready? Are we going to be able to use this at all tonight? No, they're out of commission for the rest of the night. It really, you're going to book 2 events because there was a kid story hour before ours and then the adult story hour. You're going to book 2
Hmm.
events and not have a single working bathroom. You're going to have 2 events, one designed for children, and not have a single working bathroom. So they're like, yeah, you can just walk over to Whole Foods.
Which I heard was not like a on brand Whole
No, this Whole Foods was
Foods.
sketchy. First of all, it was like, oh Jesus, like what the hell? And second, I'm in makeup that was water activated, and yes, it was set, but I didn't like set because I wasn't gonna be doing anything. I was gonna be driving, sitting, and then driving home. Like, I was not like I was
Hmm.
gonna be outside and sweating. So
That
I'm
you
like, if
knew
I
of.
walk over there and knowing my luck, it's gonna just start pouring, and then my makeup's just gonna be fucked. So we literally drove. It's
Mm.
the next building over. We literally drove so we could get out, and then I went in, used the restroom fine. My partner used the restroom fine. Our kid used the restroom, comes out and goes, "It's broken."
Yeah. It was like a
It,
domino effect almost of
it was
bathrooms
not
malfunctioning.
awesome. It was not awesome.
So
That part was not.
we had to leave
Mm.
in a hurry because some of the folks that were in our caravan
Yeah.
had to go to the bathroom, and so I've never left an event that quickly or not said goodbye to people, but yeah,
I,
we had to
it
find
was
a
crazy.
bathroom.
It was
It
crazy.
was an emergency,
And I
so
don't
we
generally like going into things like gas stations when I'm in drag, because especially that kind of drag, because it's like, I'm gonna get jumped. So,
hmm,
mm,
safety in numbers.
yeah.
But yeah, and then my Sunday gig got canceled because of the electricity being out in Peoria. So
Mm.
there we have it. I
My
enjoyed
Sunday
it.
gig was not canceled. I actually got to be back at Three Fates, which was so much fun. I really do love it when I get to work with my burlesque people. Like, it's a completely different crowd. It's a totally different vibe than like a drag show. But it's why the hell would I go to IBTs? And just saying.
Stop.
Um, but it was so much fun, and I hadn't been back because the last show I was in Seattle. The show before that I was supposed to be in Austin, but got
You
COVID.
tried to
So not only
die.
was I not in Austin, I wasn't able to go to that show either. Like, it was just stupid. I hated it. But I'm really excited for October show. So I've got an idea for a number, and it's gonna be phenomenal. So I need y'all to get on it and keep an eye on the Three Fates Review Facebook page so that when the tickets go on sale, get those tickets because it's going to be off the chain. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I saw some pictures from it already, and I love.
Oh my
You
God.
sent me pictures for your
Holy
next
shit.
meal idea.
The costumes that Peppermint Schnapps and Luna Love Button came up with for their numbers, I had no fucking words. Luna's especially, holy shit. Holy shit.
So I follow her on social media and followed the journey of her learning how to do that herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very much. I didn't see the number yet,
Oh
but
my God.
very much applauding the outfit from head to toe. Great job. No, Freddie has sent me those nails. No.
See.
No.
So, all right. So my tip tonight actually is because of a DM I got yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Oh, my days are running together. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Somebody sent me a DM and said, I have a question about poly relationships. I said, cool. I will answer it if I can. Whatever, like I don't know everything, but let me see what I can do, right?
Sure.
So they were like, so if two people are in a poly relationship and then like there's this other person, that means that they all have to agree and all three of them have to date, right? And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, they could date separately.
I said, no, not at all. I said, that's one type of poly relationship where you have three people that are in a relationship. That's usually called either a triad or something along those lines. But it's not like, that's not the only kind of poly relationship. And they're like, and then there's a bunch of questions. And I was like, okay, I feel like we need to look at the whole like ethical non-monogamy thing. Because we talked about poly before, but we haven't talked about we haven't talked too much about the different types of ethical non-monogamy that are out there. So I figured that that's what we would do tonight, is we would talk a little bit about ethical non-monogamy. So there are different types. Okay, I'm going to preface this real quick with the fact that I am not the like guru of ethical non-monogamy relationships. I don't know all the things, and what I say
am I
is
doing
not gospel.
Here?
Right. Just like I don't speak for all trans people. Felicia doesn't speak for all black people. That's, you know what I mean? I know.
Did they take my black card again?
I know. But this is just based on my own experiences and talking to people and all this stuff. So different types of ethical non-monogamy. There's things like open relationships, swinging, polyamory, relationship anarchy. Those are like probably the more common ones that you see. Each one can look very different to different people. The key to all of them is the ethical part of it. Because it's that ethical or consensual non-monogamy. That is the big thing. So some examples of the different types of E&M relationships, and I'm gonna mind you, these aren't like textbook definitions. This is just sort of what I've kind of seen a lot fall into these types and categories and like descriptions and things, and like talking to people, like, right, like again, this is not the whatever, like it's just end all be all. Right. You can do your own research on some of this shit. So first we have things like open relationships. Now, that for most folks, having an open relationship is not necessarily the same as like being in a polyamorous relationship. Very often, open relationships, you'll see that folks are able to have casual sex with others, but they're not really looking for sort of that emotional connection or like an actual relationship. The couple may play together, they may play separately, but you'll often see folks in open relationships on like the hookup apps. So you may see them on like Grindr or Scruff or Growler or whatever, and they'll say
There's an
that
app
they're
called
in
whatever.
probably at this point. But they're ones that like they're more just so looking for like the casual hookup, maybe a regular casual hookup, maybe friends with benefits type of thing. But they're not like really generally looking for another relationship per se. And you have swingers. Swingers are, it's generally sexual in nature when it comes to swinging.
How do you mean by general?
So like you may end up friends or whatever with whoever it is, like if you form a regular thing with them, but sort of by definition, it's really more about sex than anything, because there are things like swinger parties where you and your partner may go to these parties and you may swap partners. Somebody may like to kind of watch while the other person is doing whatever. There's like soft swaps where you can do things like you can have oral sex with somebody, but you can't have penetrative sex with them. Like there's all sorts of different things, but they all sort of revolve around sex rather than like emotional connection, relationships, and things like that. Like you may very well have like maybe you have like another swinger couple that you meet up with for regular nights and whatever, and you have it that kind of understand where you swap, you go with one of them and they go with your other partner, and you know what I mean. But it's again it's like, hey, we can hang out, let's have a drink real quick, all right, now let's get to bed. Like it's not like a lot of deep emotional relationship connection.
But
you could, but then it kind of, you could, but swingers generally it's not exactly the same. In the swinger world, now I'll talk about this too, but in the swinger world and in the polyamory world, there's a term unicorn, and they actually kind of mean two different things. In the swinger world, a unicorn is generally considered to be a single bisexual woman who is interested in having sex with both people in the couple. My ex was considered a unicorn in the swinger world for a while there because she was single, she's bisexual. She actually had a couple of couples that, they'd be like, hey, you want to come over? Cool. They go over, have a couple of, glass of wine, do the thing, and then be like, okay, peace, I'm out. So it's like, that's how it was. Unicorns in the poly world are a little bit different. They're similar, but a little bit different. So, okay, then we have polyamory. And when folks are in a polyamorous relationship, generally it means that people are open to romantic and emotional connections with multiple people. It's not generally based on just sex, and it's about, it can be, you can have like a friends with benefits or a comet, which is someone that you don't see very often, but you're still kind of in a relationship with. Maybe they're out of town, maybe it's a long distance type of thing, but you see them and they come in and you hang out and you do stuff, you have sex or whatever, but that's it. And you only see them maybe a few times a year or once a month or whatever it is. But there are, when it comes to poly relationships, there's all sorts of different types of things. You've got things like triads, where you've got like three people that are all in a relationship together. You can have things like V's. So you have like one person who is in a relationship with this person and is also in a relationship with this person, but those people are not in a relationship together. Does that make sense? So it's you'll hear sometimes people talk about being the hinge in the V, and that means that they're the person that they've got this partner and they've got this partner, but those two people are not partners.
But not like a fun kind of third wheel.
They may not even have anything to do with each other.
Oh.
You just have this person and this person.
Oh.
There's you can have a parallel type of relationship with people. So you have you say you have your primary. It could be a nesting partner, it could be a spouse or whatever.
A
And
nesting partner.
nesting
Hmm.
partner.
Mhm.
Technically, my partner and I are nesting partners because we live together. We're not married, but we live together.
Mhm.
You know, so that's where we would, you know, but like, so parallel poly would be, say your partner has a couple other partners, but you don't really interact with them much. So like
Mm.
you're, you know, you may see them on occasion, like if they come pick up your partner or whatever, you might see them out at a whatever, at a gathering or a meetup or whatever, right? So you may see them, but you don't have a lot of interaction with them.
Mm.
You don't necessarily, you know, and you're just like that, and you're fine with that. There's also kitchen table, which means that basically everybody isn't necessarily in a relationship together, but everybody's comfortable enough to be, you know, everybody and their partners are all over for
Cordial.
game night, and everybody's hanging out, and everybody's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
cordial.
right. No, more than cordial. It's more like a almost like an extended family. So
Oh.
you know, parallel, you wouldn't necessarily have everybody over for a game night, but kitchen table, you could have everybody over for game night, for dinner, whatever, that kind of thing. Everybody hangs out, everybody's friendly. But there's no one way to do it. You know, one is not better than the other. It's all what everybody is comfortable with. Then there's relationship anarchy, which that isn't talked about a whole heck of a lot. It's becoming
What is
a
that?
more popular term, and you'll see it a lot in dating apps and stuff and profiles. You'll see it a lot as RA. So if you see RA on a dating profile, it means they are relationship anarchists. And
Mm.
the idea behind relationship anarchy is that these are the folks that kind of deconstruct relationship rules and expectations that um, you know, you can't have any rules or expectations that aren't agreed upon by everyone. So a lot of times it means that there's no hierarchy, like you don't have a primary partner. Um, you know, you try to stay away from the social norms. So it would be like, just because you happen to be married to someone doesn't mean that they will take priority over this partner over here.
Whew.
That sort of thing. It can be a lot. It can, you know,
So
but
Eddie
any,
says it's a lot of work.
yeah, that can be.
Suzette
And
says there are so many different ways it can go as long as
right.
it works for all parties. That's all that matters. And Eddie's
So
question is, are unicorns in poly relationships?
so there are what are can be considered unicorns in the poly world. Unfortunately, it tends to there's a thing called unicorn hunting that tends to be frowned
What?
upon. So what that means is generally what when someone is unicorn hunting, and you primarily see this with couples who have one like cisgender man and one cisgender woman. So what it
Hmm.
is they're looking for another woman to come into their relationship and date both of them. However, the problem is that often that third person is kind of seen person as opposed to someone who is actually this, you know, whole thing. There is often what is called a one penis policy in
Ooh.
situations like that, where it gets put down where it's like, you're in a relationship with me and her. I'm the only guy you're allowed to fuck. So they put down all these rules, and it's unicorn hunting is frowned upon in the poly community, like big time. And people will like come down hard on you if you're in a poly group and you're a dude and you're like, we're looking for a female to come join us. Stop. There are some people where that works,
But what if
but
that is what the couple wants, though?
no, if the and that's the thing is the couple wants that. A lot of times though is they misrepresent things. So the couple is looking for that, but that single woman that they're trying to get in there, it becomes a very kind of gross, icky, like, you know, we have to be your priority. You can't date anybody else. Like, it just gets, but my wife is still my priority. Like, it gets very kind of icky and gross a lot of times. And often you see that just doesn't end well. Like, very rarely does that shit end well. So if you see,
interesting,
like, yeah, that's why unicorn hunting in like the poly world is not.
I did not know it was called that.
And it's the same. It's a similar concept to the unicorn in like the swinger world, because the swinger world, a unicorn is a single bisexual woman who is happy having sex with both partners, right? So a unicorn
is that
and a
looked
poly,
down upon?
Not in the swinger world. No, not in the swinger world. They love that shit. Like, they're all about it. In fact, a lot of times at swinger parties, single women don't have to pay the cover.
Oh, because they're the unicorn.
Whereas, so with the unicorns in the poly world are basically looked at as bisexual women who want to have who are open to having a relationship with both men and women, but the unicorn part of it means basically they want it to be only theirs. So they just want this little mythical creature that just, you know, it's theirs. They can capture it and put it in their pocket and just, don't do it. So again, those are just like a few different types of ethical non-monogamous relationships. They can look different for everyone. They can,
excuse me.
It's all depends on the people that are in the relationship. And the thing, again, the key to all of it is the ethical part of it, no matter what kind of ethical non-monogamy you practice. So for example, if you're in an open relationship, but you don't communicate about the other people that you're sleeping with, that isn't entirely ethical.
Because the other person has not been communicated
right.
that this is happening.
So I will note that there are some folks that have a sort of a don't ask, don't tell policy in their relationship, which works
one person
for some
has
people.
That don't ask, don't tell.
The don't ask, don't tell. I don't like that, because it's like it's weird. I don't know. I feel like that falls into some sketchy territory there. So if your partner thinks that you're in a monogamous relationship, but you want to be open or poly or whatever, but you don't communicate that, and you just go ahead and sleep with other people, that's not ethical. You are in fact cheating on your partner.
Welcome.
And so if you and your partner have an agreement about using protection when you're sleeping with other people, and then you or your partner or your other partner don't wear a condom, that's unethical.
Laura, you're not uneducated. We're just opening your eyes to different windows.
And a lot of times people are like, well, if you're in an open or a poly relationship, you can't cheat on people. Yeah, no, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. It all depends on what the communication is between you and your partner. Like, if you tell your partner that, you know, I would like to be kept informed of anybody that you may be, you know, forming a connection with. I need to know if, you know, you sleep with somebody else or whatever, and that person doesn't tell you anything, you're 100%, you are cheating 100%. That's not that you have to have that ethical part of it. Otherwise you're just kind of scummy. And again, there's no one way to do it. What works for some people may not work for you or your partner. And the key of it is all about communication. And practicing ENM doesn't mean that you don't love your partner. That's like, I see some of this shit that I'm like, people post things and they're like, why can't anybody just be faithful? No, that ethical non-monogamy isn't about not being faithful. People are capable of loving more than one person, and sex is just fucking sex. Like, if you and your partner are like, hey, if you want to, you know, go out and have sex with other people, that's fine. I know in the end, you know, you're coming home to me and we have this wonderful life and whatever. It's not, you don't get to shame people who are poly, who are open, who are swingers. Just like the people that are open don't get to shame people that are monogamous. Monogamy works for people, ENM works for people. Neither is better or worse than the other, and that's a big thing to remember.
I just say this kind of piggybacks off of last week that we talked about self-love. I know that I could be in an ENM relationship, but I have a lot of things that I don't know about Scott, but I have a lot of insecurities, a lot of what we've talked about, partnership patterns. So I don't. I have not. You can be polyamorous and not be dating anyone, or more than one. Sounds a little more real to life. What does Laura say? Laura says, I know couples who don't have sex for 20 years, but his partner is okay with him having sex with others as long as he comes home. I too know a couple like this. But that's, again, clear communication between the two partners. And, you know, I have heard people talking about each other's adventures. So, I mean, that's still another form of communication. It's not a secret. It's not like, oh, I went and, you know, but there are some people that are like, I don't want to know who you slept with as long as you're using protection or something like that.
Right. And that's the thing is that if the agreement is that you use protection regardless of what you're doing, then if you don't, then that gets rid of the ethical part of it. And now you're just shithead, basically, because that just opens up all sorts of issues.
I know. And that's why I just say it.
Insecurity doesn't work in polyamory. It's hard. Like you could even you could be the most confident, secure person on the planet, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel things like jealousy or envy or you know, all these things. Like but you have to be willing to put in the self work, just like we were talking about last week, to be able to do that. And being in a poly relationship doesn't mean that jealousy doesn't happen. That's unrealistic. It's an unrealistic expectation. You are human. You have emotions and you have feelings. And sometimes those feelings are things like jealousy or envy or anger or disappointment or whatever it is. And it just because you're in a poly relationship doesn't mean that those things don't show up. That's unrealistic. It doesn't
Question. Can the relationship evolve like between those that you named?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like just because someone starts out as swingers doesn't mean that they can't decide at some point that, you know what, we want more connection than just sex. You know, same thing with being open, you know, but again, it's about that communication, because if one partner is like, well, no, I'm good with just the sex. Like I'm good just going to these parties. I'm good with just boning, whatever. But the other person is like, I really need more of a connection. If you have that conversation, it may be able to be fine where you have the one person that's still like, all right, well, go to those parties, do whatever. But you know, you go ahead and if you need that, you know, that connection, then you can have that, you know what I mean? So, but it's about communication. If you don't speak up and you don't say anything, no one is going to know that there's something that would need to change or would need to evolve.
Yeah.
That's, you know, but yeah, I mean, communication, and it's the ethical part of it. Like that is what needs to
like don't let them find out.
Right. Like don't be shady. Don't be shady.
I should add to that, in my experience, I've been involved with people who say they want polyamory, but then they're insecure and lash out. That would be my problem. I would act a fool, and you would be like, "But we agreed to this," and I'd be like, "You're right." You're right, but I'm acting a
it's
fool.
it's not easy. Like, it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to kind of, but there are some really good books and stuff out there that can help, and getting a good therapist can help as well.
There's some really good podcasts.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Moving on. What have we got going on for current events?
Oh, yes. Many people don't know they struggle until it pops up. Until what pops up? See what I did there? Oh my God. Okay. So, what the fuck? Let's go there first. This one's kind of cute, kind of stupid. A 78-year-old woman trying to find the Apple Store drove her SUV through the mall after someone tells her it's inside the plaza.
Okay, how did she get it into the mall? Does she not know how malls work? Does she not understand the way that's like just store?
Her car is like full on in the mall.
Does she not understand how stores work? Like, does she drive through Fry's? Like, what the fuck?
Maybe she got so used to curbside. She was like,
carrots are on aisle 3, so she drives through Fry's to find it. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, what? That makes no sense.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
So a group of conservative Christians in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, have been essentially harassing the local library that they want about 400 books banned. Now, as usual, these books have subject matters on things like the LGBTQ community. They might contain some sexual references or references to the occult. Now, here's the thing, though, is that these 400 books that they're bitching about aren't even in the library. They don't even exist in the library. They're not there. So they're like, oh, okay, well, can we get them preemptively banned then so that we don't get them in? The head librarian has since resigned. She's like, nothing in my background could have prepared me for the political atmosphere of extremism.
This library didn't get defunded?
This one didn't.
Soon. This is really strange. A man has been charged with abuse of a corpse, receiving stolen property, and other charges after police say he allegedly tried to buy human remains from a woman for possible resale on Facebook. I'm thinking it was like an undercover operation, which is still odd.
Why would the woman have human? I'm not even asking questions. I don't want to know. I don't think I want to know. I don't want to know.
I can send you the article if you want.
I don't want to know.
Inquisitive.
On the subject of libraries, a library in Jamestown, Michigan has been defunded because it refused to remove an LGBTQ plus book. So it was literally one book, and the town had a fit over the book. The librarian said, no, we're going to keep it. So they said, all right, then we're pulling your funding.
Oh, this one gets defunded.
Mm-hmm. This one gets defunded over one book.
So the stray kids don't get to read their heteronormative books either.
No, nobody gets to read. No reading for Jamestown, Michigan.
Why do I feel like Fahrenheit 451 or something's going to happen? Is this 1984? What's going on?
It's Idiocracy.
Oh my gosh.
Next up, watering our crops with Gatorade.
Because it rehydrates them. Let's see. A couple is charged with having sex on an amusement park ride. The woman told police that she was bent over to pick up a pack of cigarettes and her partner was helping.
I'll bet he was. Mm-hmm.
What kind of pack of cigarettes are these?
Jesus.
I need to get some of these.
I don't understand.
And an amusement ride, though?
I mean, what ride was it? Like, I'm wondering what.
I understand what is it? The expeditionism or voyeurism?
Like, if you're bent over, like, it's gotta be a relatively stable ride. Like, because the Ferris wheels aren't very stable. Like, what ride was it? I just want to know what ride it was, because
I don't know. Most of them spin around and make me sick.
I know
So
I couldn't. I would be throwing up all over the place. That would not work for me.
I don't know.
Oh, those of you paying attention today would have seen that Biden moves to forgive about $10,000 in student loan debt, up to $20,000 for some people. And while this might actually help some folks, it doesn't actually address the underlying problem of the cost of education and the loans that continue to need to be taken out to go to university here. That's even like a bigger problem. So, okay, so you're going to forgive all the student loan debt, but what about the people that are still acquiring debt because they have to get into university, and to pay for university, they have to take out loans? What are you going to do for them?
I'm
Like, it doesn't do anything to address the actual issue.
I don't know. Put me on the list so
like,
I can get forgiven too.
there needs to be a whole like reform when it comes to like higher education here, but we don't want to talk about that. God forbid.
Oops. Let's see. I think I did this wrong. Betsy Coleman. I forgot the headline. Betsy Coleman, I believe over the weekend, was celebrated for being the 100th year of her public flight. And her family is keeping her legacy running by running the Betsy Coleman Aviation All-Stars. Coleman's great niece is helping provide resources to underprivileged students while teaching others about her great aunt's achievements.
Awesome.
I believe she's not the first female, right? Maybe she was?
She might have been the first black
female. I know that.
I think that might be. I think that
because she wasn't up there before Amelia, was she?
I don't think so. I could be wrong on that. I think she may have been the first black woman pilot, but I could be wrong on that.
Oh.
A former Louisville detective pleads guilty to Breonna Taylor cover-up. No shit. Kelly Goodlett pleaded guilty on Tuesday to helping to falsify the search warrant that led to the killing of Taylor.
This is very important. Very important. It starts breaking things off.
Everything. Yeah, this is massive.
So
Because the fact that she admitted that it was bullshit, like that, man, I hope Breonna Taylor's family takes that, fucking runs with it, and takes the fucking Louisville Police Department for all that it's fucking worth. They need to file. Oh my God, they need to take
so many paperworks, and they should sue the police officers individually so they can get a bigger bang for their buck, because these police stations, police departments are not giving nearly as much as I would think that they should be giving. But
they need to be suing everybody and their mother at this point.
Also, I don't know if you follow the news today here locally, but I think that the ACLU and some news organizations sued police stations, whatever, because there was a law that was passed that we couldn't film police officers. And so that was ruled unconstitutional today. So just a lot of big old wins. What's the next one? Because I just pulled that one out of my hat. Meghan Markle's podcast premieres on Spotify this week. It's titled Archetypes. I know what this
Archetypes.
Archetypes. I'm sorry. My brain is not. It was not. It was like, no, that's not right. But Markle's podcast. I never claimed that I knew everything. Her podcast features uncensored conversation. They're censored with historians, experts about the history of societal stereotypes about women. And in the guest list is a whole bunch of celebrities, including Mariah Carey as one of the first guests on the podcast, which is interesting. Interesting. Couldn't believe that.
In world news, I think this could also potentially be in the WTF because the fuck. Dennis Rodman, who is what now a fucking world ambassador, says he's going to go to Russia to seek the release of Brittany Griner. Former NBA player has tried to cultivate an image as an informal U.S. diplomat to North Korea and Russia. Dude. Dennis Rodman
have several seats.
Knowing his luck, he's gonna go. He's gonna have fucking weed in his bag, and then he's gonna end up in a fucking Russian prison.
Oh my
too.
God! Oh my God!
Let's be real here. Like, dude, you are. What makes you qualified to do any of this?
Hands off.
What has he done since not being like playing basketball? Like,
he went to North Korea a couple years ago when we thought that North Korea, when he thought that North Korea was going to blow us up, and then
did he stop the war? Thank you, Dennis Rodman.
Oh my God, I can't with you. Anyway, the Singapore Prime Minister.
World peace to Dennis Rodman.
The Singapore Prime Minister has said that he will repeal a colonial era law that criminalizes sex between men. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Though there are currently no plans to redefine marriage as they begin being between man and a woman. These are small steps, just like how we did here. We're still fighting ignorance here. So kudos to them. I love when I see that countries start signing the little papers that say you could have.
I mean, it's like
as much marriage as you want.
It's not like there aren't gay people in Singapore, and that's the thing is that he acknowledged, he's like, I'm pretty sure that our people here are going to be okay with this. Like, this is, we can go ahead and decriminalize this bullshit. A Christian school in Florida, surprise, has said that they will only refer to students as their biological gender, and has said that all gay, transgender, and gender nonconforming students, quote, will be asked to leave the school immediately. So, okay, first of all, is anybody surprised at this? Second, why the fuck would you want your gay or trans kid to go to a Christian school anyway? Like, let's be real here, folks. Like,
I went to a Christian school.
And then, of course, after they did all this, they said, we are not a hateful people.
What?
They said, we are not a hateful people. Really? Because you're literally like, you don't go here, you don't go here, you don't go here, get the fuck out, go, you go, you go, you go.
I don't have a problem with religion. I have a problem with those that observe and spout off religion because they put into it their own definitions, and they ostracize and exploit different people because of their own insecurities, and that is just completely wrong and not right on any level.
Since they're using the Bible as guidelines for all this, I also hope that they are kicking out anybody that eats shrimp or other shellfish. I hope that they ask anyone that is wearing a polycotton blend in clothing, ask them to leave.
Also, if they break Lent, they should leave.
Yeah. If they eat bacon, then eat pork products, ham, anything like that, they should not only be asked to leave, but they actually should be stoned.
And then for those that have priests, they should be exiled and beaten or stoned, right? If I understand this correctly. I haven't seen that in a while, so we should be living up to these standards.
I mean, if we're using the Bible as like guidelines, then that makes sense to me. I got a list of people that should probably be taken out and stuff.
I haven't seen this happen, and so especially those that keep fighting to say that this is a Christian country, that too. So I'm gonna need all of us to go into a plaza and say, okay, this person needs to be stoned because they ate bologna for lunch. So
Only if they're Christian, though. If they're not Christian, then they shouldn't be held to the same laws. So
No.
if they're Christian, and then we're going to use the Bible to, because that's what makes
to
sense.
govern the laws, because the
Yeah.
founding fathers were Christian as well. Anybody hear me? The Vietnamese government has announced a huge shift in LGBTQ plus rights in their country. The Ministry of Health has declared that LGBTQ plus folks are not entirely ill.
No, are entirely not ill.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Not entirely. No, entirely not.
Okay, illness. I was like, wait a minute. And they don't need to be cured or converted. Huh. Also, if you're a Christian, the conversion therapies, I think that those are a sin of some sort, because I read something like this in that book before. I was like, yeah, that sounds like when you commit that right there, that sounds like stoning in the middle of the yeah.
Let's see. We got some monkeypox news. The U.S. is setting aside about 50,000 doses of the monkeypox vaccine for places that have upcoming Pride events.
Is Phoenix one of those?
Not that I know of.
Because our Pride is in October.
Yeah, well, we just had a big push here, so
we just had a big dose party.
It might be for places that don't.
I'm glad I'm not going to this. Southern Decadence. I've always wanted to go to this, but maybe not this year. One of the country's biggest LGBTQ plus events that takes place in New Orleans is expecting about 200,000 people. Because of monkeypox concerns, the organizers have canceled the free concert that takes place during the event. That's the best part, though. Are people still going to
go? Well, they've decided it's not a good idea. Right now, the U.S. has more infections than any other country. As of today, we have more than 16,600 total.
It's because we don't read.
Yeah. Wyoming now has a case. Wyoming now has one case.
Oh, the one person that traveled to Wyoming stayed there.
Right. One case right now. Arizona is up to 269 cases. California's got over 3,000 cases. So does New York. In fact, New York did have more than California, but now California actually has 30 more cases than New York. So people need to please be mindful. Please, this isn't going away. Like this is something that needs to be taken care of. It needs to be taken seriously. So if you have the chance to go get vaccinated, go get vaccinated.
The vaccine is available this time. We're not sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Right. So this is something that, don't ignore the fact that this is happening, because it can.
Oh, I'm not ignoring it. I need to make the time. I probably could do that.
People are just like, whatever, and it doesn't matter whether you are a man that has sex with men or not. If you're able to get the vaccine, get it, because let's be real, this shit does not. It's like HIV and AIDS. Like, you may be a gay thing, but it's not just gay people that get it. So
I'm already starting to experience the irrational paranoia. Just want everyone to know that. If you have been in my vicinity, I have not hugged people really, because and I don't think that everybody has it. I'm just irrational fear.
And then put on top of it the fact that COVID hasn't gone away, and we still have some very highly contagious strains running around. So don't be dumb about that either. This isn't.
But yeah, so if I don't give you a hug, that may not be your moment. Sorry.
Don't take it personally.
I just want people to know that I even during COVID, I knew I was going to places with mask on. I didn't touch things. I didn't ugh. Bleh. No. I'm so sorry. I don't know what it is, but it takes over. So, you win. Illness is yikes.
All right, what have we got coming up? I don't think I have anything majorly coming up.
So we don't have anything until next week is our season finale. I'm not sure if we decided on what we're gonna do, but
I don't know. We can do it. Whatever. We can have combination.
You wanted a roast. We could have a
yeah,
roast. I just may need to take some a bar or two to make sure that
we can do like a Q&A, like an ask me almost anything kind of thing. Like whatever we can.
Almost anything.
Well,
I offered to be a guest and I was denied. What do you offer? Hey, wait, that's my comeback after you denied me of organizing my area because you said you had a long list of things to take care of, and I wasn't on the list. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard I was not on the list. That's all I heard.
Let's see. Coming up in September, we have sex trivia at Gracie's on September 10th. So put that on your calendar. We'll be posting it on the Fefe page and stuff too.
And drag bingo and cats on September 16th. I had to stone his pants. We're going to the same place. Never mind. And we're thinking of coming back in October. I don't know. But
yes, we are coming back in October, or mid-October.
We're not gonna leave you hanging. You just bought us all this equipment, so
yeah, don't worry. We're only going away for about 6 weeks.
Yeah,
not that long.
We need that. With that being said, thank you for coming to our TED Talk. Oh, Shannon, how rude.
It's fine. I'll just lock the door. I'll get a deadbolt. It's fine.
Thank you for tuning in for your Wednesday night conversation. Thanks to all those that watch on the replay and those that watch live and those that download the podcast on whatever your favorite podcast player is. We will see you next week for our season finale of Let's Have a Fefe. Oh, I'm so excited about all the stuff we're working on, but you'll only see it first if you subscribe to us on Patreon. Anyway, so have a good night. We'll talk to you next week.
Good night.
Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Subscribe to the Let's Have a Fefe podcast. You can listen on your favorite podcatcher. See you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. This has been Let's Have a Fefe. Good night.